Is it going? Okay. What's your name?
My name is Juan Guerra.
Juan Garrick?
Guerra. It's first name is Juan, and the last name is Guerra.
Okay, what's your title?
Executive Escalations Advocate,
Okay. And who do you work for?
Bank of America.
Who's your boss, direct supervisor?
I don't have one.
You don't have a direct supervisor?
Correct. We answer to the office of Holly O'Neill.
Okay, you answer to the office of Holly O'Neill. Okay. All right. So can you give me your answer to my problem? Let me just make sure for the record that I'm letting you know that the HCH that is being performed by your company to take payments from my bank account to pay my Bank of America credit card and my Sam's Club card on y'all's record for the last 2 years, it should show that I have called in several times noting that I have had several problems with those payments going through. Is that something that you don't see?
I do see here that you spoke with us regarding your concerns.
How many times?
What I can tell you is that the auto debit.
Well, no. How many times? Because the way that you're talking to me, because I asked you a question, you ignored it. I said, when do you see my phone calls coming in? How many phone calls do you see coming in? Because that's very important. Because this is not my first phone call. This has been a 2-year ongoing situation, and to me, that should, escalate me to your fraud department. Do you have one?
Yes, we do have
Okay.
a fraud department.
All right.
However, this wouldn't qualify as fraud.
Okay. Do you have what you call those online people who can break in and do all types of things to people's accounts? What department is that?
That I'm not sure, ma'am.
Okay, so when people break into online businesses and you guys need firewalls, what department does that?
Yeah, again, I'm not.
You're not for sure.
What you're speaking.
Okay.
I know that our fraud department typically deals with whenever somebody gets a hold of your account information and takes money from an account, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
We have a fraud department like that. In answer to your earlier question, through my system of record, I see that we spoke with you on November 13th of 2022, but I don't see any other notes of us speaking with you.
November of 22. Okay. So is this Bank of America? Who is this?
This is Bank of America. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then this is what I need. I need for you to pull my phone calls concerning my my account, because I have called several times, and if it's not notated on the account, and I have talked to people over the last several days who told me that they saw my notes from a while ago. So it's something to me that you don't see anything longer than a year old, when I've been calling about it for at least since the inception of my Bank of America credit card.
Now, if you spoke with somebody in the last few days, I don't see any record of that. It may have been a different department, which I won't have access to.
Okay, well then, who would have access to that to make sure that you're not, because you don't have access to certain records, I don't want you to mislead me by mistake or say things that are misleading, because I'm telling you that I have been calling for 2 years. So is there a process that can be taken to make sure you go through my records properly and go listen to my phone calls? Because there is 2 years of me complaining about these problems. And every time I've called in for the last 2 years, I've had to talk about it, because this has been the main thing that I've talked about. Things happening, crazy things happening with my account, money coming up missing, money disappearing suddenly, auto debits not working right, third party auto debits not working right, and are you saying to me that there is absolutely nowhere else I can go to inform your company of what's going on with my account to see if something can be done?
Uh, no, ma'am. You can definitely call in, and I'm not quite sure what number you were dialing when you were calling in. There's various departments that those numbers go to. So I would say that the number that you were dialing previous and during this month, as you stated, I would say maybe dial that number again and then ask them what department they're in. When you write to the office of Holly O'Neill, it will be my office that returns the call for the concern that is written in the correspondence. What I was telling you regarding your bill pay from your Bank of America account, we don't see any auto pay that was ever set up. We see one-time immediate payments that were made. As far as the third-party payments that were set up with outside companies, we wouldn't be able to talk to that. And that's not something that we would be able to see into their systems. And then your account has also been placed with a third party for collections. And I can give you that phone number as well.
Okay, and I've asked you not to pander me with that information because it's wrongful information, and I've already let you know that I have that information. So when you constantly keep coming to me about something that
I
is something
apologize.
wrong, it seems like you're trying to be petty towards me. So
No,
now,
ma'am.
now let me ask you another question. Are Now you said that I can call back into the 1-800 number, and you said that you don't answer to anyone. No one's your boss.
No, ma'am. This is the highest level of escalations when you write to Holly O'Neill.
Okay. So now, do you report to Holly O'Neill?
Yes, ma'am.
So you do have a supervisor?
In the essence that I answer for the office of Holly O'Neill? Yes.
Okay. Because you told me earlier you had no supervisor. All
Well,
right.
in the chain of command, yes, I do work for Holly O'Neill in that chain of command.
Do you answer to Holly?
Well, I don't speak with her personally, but this is the highest level of escalation, ma'am. I apologize.
Okay, this is the highest ask. All right. Can you transfer me to Holly herself, please, by either email escalation or give me her email address or phone number?
I can't. Any information that we can give you for Holly O'Neill will come right back to our office.
Okay. Do you have a diversity team?
I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Do you have a diversity team? Do you have a team of diversity within Bank of America?
Not by that name. I'm not quite sure what would the function be for that team.
Do you have a diversity team to look into things that could be concerning to people of certain race or income, and the effects of banking and when banking goes bad? They supposed to keep those types of complaints and reports. Do you have a CRA team?
That doesn't ring a bell as far as
Can
any
you
type of
can
title
is
here.
it is there a way that you can, so you're telling me that well, this is the one thing. So if I have a complaint about the fact that you told me that you don't have a supervisor and there's no other offices to go to let people know of the seems to me your systems are not being properly protected, like your IT team isn't doing something on the back end, and it just and my husband used to be at the corporate level, basically over one of the heads of the security for all Bank of America transactions. He left about 2 years ago, and since then my bank account has been trash. So yes, I need to talk to somebody else other than you, because by law I'm supposed to be able to. You are a business, and every person in there should be reachable when there is a problem. And the FCC, you all are supposed to be accessible. Holly is supposed to be accessible. When a customer has a problem, when a customer asks, the FCC, the FDIC, you are supposed to escalate it until all departments have had a chance to look into it with an investigation. And that's what I think I need.
Yes, I'm not familiar with that type of system, ma'am. I apologize. This is the highest level of escalation. So if the answers that I'm giving you aren't sufficient, I apologize. As far as a diversity team or a I'm sorry, you said CR.
Community Development, Community Reinvestment Act.
Yes, I'm not familiar with that, ma'am. We don't have, well, at least I don't think we have anything like that here. So especially, I'm sorry, did you say something about race?
Yeah, because to me, I would want to know how many what group of people are being negatively affected by HCH debits not processing for credit cards and car payments. How many people's credit has this affected? And does your company need to do an outright investigation into your systems to see if this is something common that you guys aren't obviously escalating to make sure that the people higher up have the information before these problems go public, that y'all are, to me right now, handling it with no urgency?
Oh, Ms. Barrett, I sincerely apologize. I can tell you, in no way, size, shape, or form does Bank of America look at race as a determining factor for how business practices are handled.
Well, you know what? I guess what I'm probably doing is talking to you about something that's definitely something you don't comprehend, because it is lawful that you do have to keep records based on race. Yes, it is. So yes, you do. And if you don't, then that means you're breaking the law, because you're supposed to keep it for the law. Any loans, any loans, anyone that's having bank account issues that could be of low income, black, any of those things need to be looked into, because it has been found that a lot of black people have had a lot of issues with financial systems through the years. So just like Wells Fargo has now been found to be racist against black people and black customers specifically for all types of charges, I also believe, and it's specifically black people. So I'm sorry if you don't comprehend or know the policies that regulate making sure everyone is kept safe, even if it's one individual who is bringing to your company's attention the problem. And it doesn't seem like you have any concern to tell me to do anything other than to call the 1-800 number. Is that correct?
Oh, no, ma'am. What I was saying there is because you said you had called in a number of times over the past couple of weeks. What I was saying was to use the number that you were dialing and then ask them what department they are in, so that you can see if they have better records. In my division, the only records that I have is a conversation that took place on November 13th, 2022. As far as...
So you're basically telling me to do your job. You're basically telling me, a customer who's telling you there's problems with my system, and you're basically telling me to do the job of investigating for myself when I have that information, and you're not going to escalate it to somewhere so an investigation could get started? You're telling me to do the job?
No, ma'am. What I'm saying is...
So no one in any department can be handed off to, who has the ability to check those systems as well as yours, because if your systems doesn't have it, then I should not be told when I'm bringing this concern to you to get off the phone and go figure it out. I should be told, ma'am, let me see who I can get you to, so that I can make sure when I'm done with the call, I've done everything on my part. Because at this point, I feel like you've been trying to brush me off for the last 10 minutes. You're not giving me any other route to go. You're not giving me any other route to go. And this phone call is being recorded. And I'm going to get it over to to any person with an email address anywhere. And I'm going to make it public, especially if this phone call is hung up and the only thing you can tell me is goodbye and go call and investigate it yourself.
No, ma'am, I would not tell you that. What I was telling you is that the account has actually been placed with a third party for collections, and I can give you that information.
Now, this is about the fourth time. This is the fourth time that you've mentioned that to me, and the fourth time I've asked you not to bring that conversation up, because when I contacted Holly, it had nothing to do with that bank account being in collections. So how is it that if I called Holly for HCH problems, do you feel that the main conversation and the need to consistently repeat that it's in collection, and I've constantly keep telling you that's not what I'm calling you about, because your department doesn't handle collections, your department handles HCH. So I have no idea why you feel you should go into my account and consistently keep telling me about a department that you don't handle.
Okay, so every answer that I've given you to explain, you've asked me not to say anymore.
No, that's not true. This is being recorded. What I've asked you to do is simply stay on the HCH that's dealing with Bank of America, period, not anything that has to do with a collections account. Those are two different subjects altogether, and no one contacted Holly about that. And the only thing that you keep saying to me, and I've said to you several times, that shouldn't even be something that you should be allowed to talk to me about, because that's not what I contacted you about. And that's not what I gave you permission to look into my account for.
Ms. Barrett, I've given you the information regarding your bill pay coming out of your Bank of America checking account, where they have been one-time immediate payments. Nothing was set on auto pay.
And I heard you. Now this is what I said to you. Now that you know that your department does not have access to other things, why is it that you, now that the customer's on the phone with you, can't email a different department to ask them to either start an investigation by request of the customer into, because I've requested this now for the third time and you're ignoring my request of an investigation. Okay, so then how about you stop trying to put me off the phone before you give me the proper information about starting an investigation, because I'm telling you something's not right with my account, and telling me that you can't do anything to solve it and call 1-800 and find out what information they have. That's not good enough. And that is what you've said. And I have 18 minutes of phone recorded call, and so do you.
Okay, so the advice I can give you, ma'am, and this is just because my system of record only shows one conversation back in 2022. The number that you called before, if you have that number, I can attempt to look and see what department that is. Do you have that number available?
That's something that you should be able to do. I've worked for a bank, and I would be scared to be fired if my boss keeps hearing me tell a customer to do some work. You have those numbers right in the enter screen of every department. Why would you tell me to go find it for you when you are who I'm talking to, Bank of America?
Yes, unfortunately, I don't have access to the numbers you dialed over the last couple of weeks.
Okay, well then you have access to the customer service number, because that's the only phone number I have as a customer to dial. Customer service. There is no other phone numbers to give you to get so that you can figure out how to get access to it. I simply called the customer service number, which is the only phone number given, and it's the same number for the last probably 10 years that I know. So I'm for sure you can find it.
My apologies, ma'am. I don't have access to customer service systems. If you like, again, you can reach out and find out which.
No, I don't want to reach out. I'm reaching out right now. I'm asking you to send me to a department escalated from you that you've talked to me. I would like for you to update the departments that could have access to my phone records and ask for those to be reviewed. I'm asking you to do that as the person who works for Bank of America, which is not an unreasonable question because it is my right to be able to ask, and it is for you to give me the customer service to get to the right department. Now, what I'm hearing is basically that's not something that you're going to do because obviously not, right?
It's not something that I'm able to do, ma'am.
It's not something that you're going to do. It's not able to do because you are able to click something and pull down an email and talk to a different department and say, I have a woman on the phone by the name of Talithia Barrett. She says she's having these issues. What department can I send her to for an investigation? You do have the capabilities of doing that, sir.
I can give you the number to.
Okay. What's your name again? I think I got it. What's your name just one more time? And I think I'm going to just go ahead and post the ridiculous conversation. What's your name?
My name is Juan Guerra.
And you are the executive assistant to Holly?
I'm an executive escalations advocate.
Okay. Thank you, Juan.
You're welcome, ma'am.